The Iceman is considered to be the oldest human mummy found intact, and scientists believe he died more than 5,000 years ago. Scientists sequenced the DNA of the Iceman, and the results will surprise you. The Iceman, known as the Iceman, is the oldest human mummy ever found almost intact, and his history is as mysterious as it is fascinating. His discovery is one of the century's most important archaeological finds. He is believed to have died over 5,000 years ago, but thanks to technological advancements in DNA analysis, scientists are beginning to uncover hidden secrets in his cells, revealing surprising data about the ancient world. The discovery of his perfectly preserved body, along with tools and clothing from the time, has provided a unique window into the past. However, what has really astonished experts is not just his incredible preservation, but what his DNA can tell us about his origins, his health, and the customs of the civilizations that surrounded him. In this video, we will explore how scientists have managed to sequence the Iceman's DNA and what shocking discoveries have been revealed. Join us as we unravel the mysteries behind the Iceman, the frozen traveler of the Alps, and how his legacy continues to impact science today. You won't want to miss this. The discovery of the Iceman, a traveler frozen in time, also known as Ötzi, is one of the most astonishing archaeological finds of all time. This ancient human, who lived about 5,300 years ago, was discovered in the frigid heights of the Alps on the border between Austria and Italy in September 1991. His body, perfectly preserved, was found motionless in the ice, naturally preserved in a nearly intact state, offering scientists a unique glimpse into the distant past. The discovery occurred on the quiet morning of September 19th, when two German tourists, Helmut and Erika Simon, were enjoying a hike in the Ortler Alps. While crossing a glacier, something caught their attention, a figure protruding from the ice. At first, they thought it might be some sort of trash or a backpack left behind by a hiker. However, as they approached, they realized that what they were facing was much more unsettling, a perfectly preserved human body. Although the couple initially thought it might be a recent hiker who had suffered an accident, the situation quickly became more enigmatic. With a mix of surprise and fear, they documented the discovery with photographs and marked the site with a makeshift marker. Determined to get help, they quickly descended the mountain to inform authorities and experts. The following day, a team of mountaineering experts, along with the caretaker of the nearest shelter, made their way to the site to recover the body. However, the hostile weather greatly hampered the operation. Despite using specialized tools such as pneumatic drills and ice picks, the snow and ice made it impossible to retrieve the body at that time. Reluctantly, the team abandoned the mission, leaving the body partially exposed and covering it with a protective tarp. Over the next few days, the site became a point of interest, attracting curious onlookers, journalists, and renowned mountaineers like Hans Kammerlander and Reinhold Messner. At first, everyone thought the body belonged to a recent hiker who had perished, but the real surprise came on September 22nd, when forensic expert Rainer Henn, who had been called in to evaluate the situation, discovered something unexpected. The body was much older than anyone had imagined. Henn, upon examining the clothing and artifacts found near the body, realized that they did not belong to a modern mountaineer. Instead of contemporary clothing, the body was dressed in furs, leather, and rudimentary fabrics, materials indicating a much more ancient period, possibly from the Copper Age. Furthermore, the presence of tattoos on his skin and a nearby copper axe indicated that the body belonged to a civilization over 5,000 years old. Intrigued by the discovery, Henn contacted archaeologist Konrad Spindler, who confirmed his suspicions, taking the case to a new level. After careful planning, a team of experts proceeded to recover the body and several objects found beside it: a bow, a quiver, a dagger, and a net, carefully preserved. These artifacts were packed into a wooden coffin and transported by helicopter to the Institute of Forensic Medicine in Innsbruck, where an exhaustive investigation would begin. At Innsbruck, a multidisciplinary team of archaeologists, pathologists, geneticists, radiologists, and botanists worked together to analyze both the remains and the objects found. Using advanced techniques such as radiocarbon dating, X-rays, CT scans, and DNA analysis, along with pollen found on the body, scientists were able to reconstruct crucial aspects of the Iceman's life, from his health to his diet, and unravel unknown details about the customs of the people living in that remote era. The discovery of the Iceman also had geopolitical significance. In 1919, as part of the negotiations of the Treaty of Saint-Germain, new borders were drawn between North Tyrol and South Tyrol using rivers and bodies of water as natural markers. However, a glacier in the region complicated the task, as the border was not perfectly defined. Over the years, this issue was re-examined, and in October 1991, a surprising discovery was made. The exact location where the Iceman was found actually belonged to Italy. This revelation confirmed Italy's claim to the region, as the area was initially thought to be part of South Tyrol. Since 1991, the discovery of the Iceman, or Ötzi, has been a remarkable and fortunate event. Two German tourists, Helmut and Erika Simon, stumbled upon a frozen human body while hiking in the Ortler Alps on the border between Austria and Italy. Despite initial assumptions that it was a recent hiker, investigations soon showed that the body was much older. Instead of belonging to the modern era, the body dated back over 5,000 years, revealing secrets about life in the Copper Age. Since its discovery, the Iceman's remains have been the subject of exhaustive study and are currently on display at the South Tyrol Archaeological Museum in Bolzano, Italy. The physical and biological analysis of the Iceman's body has provided a unique insight into the customs and life in the Alps millennia ago. The body, which stands about 160 centimeters tall and weighs around 50 kilograms, was found partially decomposed, allowing researchers to conduct detailed studies. Initially, it was wrongly believed that the genitals were missing, but this was corrected after a closer examination. One of the most fascinating findings was the isotopic composition of the Iceman's dental enamel, which allowed scientists to trace his origins. Studies revealed that he grew up in what is now Feldthurns, a village north of Bolzano in South Tyrol, and later moved to a valley about 50 kilometers further north in the Alpine region. This type of analysis not only reveals details about his place of origin, but also about the dietary customs of the time. A deeper analysis of the contents of his stomach and intestinal tract provided an overview of his last meals before his death. Fragments of red deer meat found in his stomach, along with grains of wheat, indicated that his diet was varied and primarily based on meats and grains. The presence of herb bread and fruits in his digestive tract suggests that he had access to a diet rich in natural foods from his environment. This finding was especially relevant because scientists were able to determine that Ötzi ate less than 2 hours before his death. Additionally, analysis of his hair revealed what he had eaten months before. Using pollen found in the samples, pollen studies suggest that Ötzi consumed foods from mid-altitude forests with conifers. Pollen from wheat, legumes, and broad beans was also found, suggesting that he was involved in agricultural activities. These elements help to better understand the environment in which he lived and his eating habits, which were complex and adapted to the seasons. One of the most intriguing findings was the presence of a nearly pure copper axe, suggesting that Ötzi may have been involved in copper smelting. The high levels of copper and arsenic found in his hair support this theory. This discovery provides a new perspective on the technology and advances of the Copper Age in the Alpine region. Ötzi's bone structure also gave clues about his lifestyle. Analysis of his tibia, femur, and pelvis revealed that he was accustomed to walking long distances through mountainous terrain, suggesting that he was probably a herder. This physical activity, which was uncommon for people in the Copper Age, indicates that he may have been a man of great endurance and adapted to the harsh conditions of the Alps. In 2009, using advanced technology, scientists created a digital reconstruction of Ötzi's face, allowing visitors to the South Tyrol Archaeological Museum to see a digital representation of what he may have looked like. This reconstruction shows a man around 45 years old with brown eyes, a beard, and a worn face reflecting the hardships he faced in his life. The Iceman has not only provided us with a view of life over 5,000 years ago, but it has also revealed the complexity of prehistoric societies. His discovery remains one of the most important archaeological finds, shedding light on the interactions between humanity and its natural environment, the technology of the Copper Age, and the secrets of survival in the Alps. In the year 2000, an ambitious scientific endeavor began to take shape: the analysis of the DNA of the Iceman Ötzi, one of the most mysterious figures from prehistory. This effort became a milestone in paleogenetics, the discipline that studies the genetic material of ancient remains. The mission to extract and analyze the DNA of this ancient human presented significant challenges, from the risk of contamination to the natural degradation of the samples. However, the technological advances of the time opened a door to a new world of discoveries. The Iceman, who was discovered in 1991 in the Alps, had been preserved for more than 5,000 years due to the extreme cold of the region. Although the DNA was fragmented and extremely fragile, the low temperatures helped maintain it in a surprisingly good condition, allowing scientists to advance in their analysis. The process of DNA extraction was meticulous. The researchers had to ensure that the samples were not contaminated with modern DNA, as this could have distorted their findings. Once these obstacles were overcome, the scientists used advanced sequencing technologies, which were in full development at that time. This process was like solving a complex puzzle, as Ötzi's genetic sequences were incomplete and fragmented. However, the improvement of sequencing techniques allowed the reconstruction of much longer sequences, providing a more complete view of his genome. The analysis of the Iceman's DNA opened a unique window to better understand human migration patterns and the evolution of our species. By comparing Ötzi's genetic markers with those of modern populations, scientists were able to identify links that revealed how humans moved and mixed across Europe. Moreover, these studies provided valuable information about his health, eating habits, and even his physical traits. One of the most astonishing discoveries occurred in 2008 when scientists analyzed Ötzi's mitochondrial DNA. This type of DNA is passed exclusively through the maternal line and serves as a genetic map connecting us to our most distant ancestors. The results challenged previous beliefs about human migrations. Rather than being closely related to the current populations of the Alpine region, Ötzi shared a closer genetic connection with people from Sardinia, an island in the Mediterranean. This discovery was like a genetic bombshell, suggesting that ancient humans from the Alps might have been more related to the inhabitants of the Mediterranean than to their close neighbors in the Alps. This finding surprised the scientific community, as it rewrote an important part of the history of human migrations in Europe. Evidence points to the possibility that prehistoric human migration routes might have been much more complex and diverse than previously thought, with movements north and south across Europe via unexpected pathways. Furthermore, the genetic analysis of Ötzi provided a clearer picture of the genetic diversity of European populations during the Copper Age, revealing interactions and movements that had been previously unknown. The genetic sequencing of Ötzi not only allowed scientists to study the individual's health conditions, but also to explore how diseases have transformed over time. The analysis of his genetic markers related to diseases provided important clues about the conditions affecting humans in that era, offering a fascinating insight into the origins of diseases that have continued to impact humanity for millennia. Ötzi's genetic research was not limited to identifying his lineage and connections with other human populations, but also provided crucial information about his physical and mental health. His analysis revealed details about his diet, the diseases he suffered from, and his physical traits. Studies showed that Ötzi had various ailments, such as arteriosclerosis, a sign of cardiovascular issues, suggesting that even in prehistoric times, humans were already facing health challenges similar to those we experience today. Regarding his diet, the analysis of his mitochondrial DNA and the contents of his digestive tract provided clear evidence that Ötzi consumed a varied diet based on meat, grains, and local plants. It was also discovered that his diet was well suited to the harsh conditions in which he lived, allowing him to efficiently sustain himself in the high mountains of the Alps. The effort to decode the DNA of the Iceman not only provided valuable data about Ötzi and his life, but also marked a turning point in paleogenetics. Advances in sequencing technologies allowed scientists to study the DNA of individuals from such distant times with a precision once thought impossible. This knowledge opened new doors to studying other extinct species, exploring connections between different human groups, and gaining a better understanding of the origins of our species. Each discovery about Ötzi's DNA not only brings us closer to understanding his life, but also sheds light on the early steps of humanity and its interactions with the environment and other peoples. As science continues to advance, the analysis of ancient DNA continues to solidify itself as a powerful tool for understanding our evolutionary past. In 2012, scientists delved deeper into the remains of Ötzi, benefiting from advances in technology and the incredible preservation of his remains. Through extensive analysis, researchers discovered several surprising revelations about the health of this individual who lived more than 5,000 years ago. One of the most notable findings was that Ötzi suffered from Lyme disease, making him the oldest documented case of this bacterial infection transmitted by tick bites. The symptoms of Lyme disease, such as fever, fatigue, and joint pain, are common today, but the fact that Ötzi had suffered from this disease highlights how bacterial infections have affected humanity for millennia. Additionally, genetic and biochemical studies revealed that Ötzi was lactose intolerant. Lactose intolerance was common among prehistoric populations, as the ability to digest lactose beyond infancy did not develop in most cultures until relatively recent times, with the domestication of animals like cows and goats. This discovery provides insight into Ötzi's eating habits and his adaptation to the conditions of his time, likely consuming a diet rich in meat and vegetables but avoiding dairy products. Another impressive finding was the presence of arteriosclerosis, a condition of hardening of the arteries, suggesting Ötzi may have experienced cardiovascular issues similar to those of modern humans. Arteries, a condition now associated with unhealthy diets and lack of exercise. The detection of arteriosclerosis in Ötzi challenges the idea that cardiovascular diseases are a strictly modern ailment. Evidence suggests that although Ötzi's life was marked by hunting and living in the mountains, genetic and environmental factors could have contributed to the development of this condition, raising questions about health and longevity in the past. In 2016, an additional study revealed one of the most surprising connections between the past and the present. Through the genetic analysis of Ötzi, scientists discovered that he had living descendants today, which astonished the scientific world. By analyzing his Y chromosome DNA, researchers traced a series of genetic traits in modern people that share a direct connection to Ötzi. After conducting extensive genetic research in the Alpine region, scientists found 19 living men who carried the same genetic mutation as Ötzi, a marker that had remained in their lineages throughout the centuries. This discovery not only connected these individuals with Ötzi's past, but also offered a fascinating insight into the migration of peoples across Europe during the Copper Age. The study of Ötzi not only reveals details about his health, but also provides key information about the genetic history of European populations. Despite the multiple migrations and population changes that have occurred in Europe over the centuries, studies indicate that genetic patterns in certain regions have remained surprisingly constant. This discovery also highlights the incredible progress in genetic analysis techniques. The ability to trace the lineages of people who lived more than 5,000 years ago to the present day opens new opportunities for better understanding how humans have interacted, migrated, and evolved over millennia. Ötzi, the Iceman, is not only a figure that sheds light on life during the Copper Age, but also serves as a tangible reminder of how our past is inextricably linked to our present. Through genetics, the connections between the ancient inhabitants of the Alps and their modern descendants underscore the importance of paleogenetics in understanding the roots of our humanity. Ötzi, the Iceman, is one of the most fascinating discoveries in modern archaeology, not only because of his incredible state of preservation but also for the revelations about his daily life during the Copper Age. The remains of Ötzi, found in 1991 in the Italian Alps, have provided a unique insight into how a prehistoric man adapted to a harsh mountainous environment. Through his tools and clothing, we can better understand how he survived in a primitive world. Ötzi's clothing not only offered protection against the extreme cold of the Alps, but also reflected his skill in hunting and his deep knowledge of the natural surroundings. He wore a jacket made of sheep's wool, a garment that provided insulation against low temperatures. Sheep's wool was ideal due to its ability to retain heat even in damp conditions. What's remarkable about this garment is the advanced skin-curing technique that prehistoric craftsmen had already mastered. The jacket was designed not only to keep him warm but also to allow flexibility in movement, essential for a man who likely spent a lot of time hunting or gathering. His shoes, one of the standout pieces of his clothing, were made from red deer skin and grass, a natural insulation of dry grass. This design provided excellent thermal insulation, keeping his feet dry and warm, crucial for avoiding frostbite during long walks on slippery mountainous terrain. The soles of his shoes were reinforced with leather, making them durable enough to withstand the wear and tear of walking on rocky surfaces. In addition to completing his outfit, Ötzi wore leggings made from deer skin, alternating between light and dark colors, offering comfort, strength, and freedom of movement. This fabric was essential for his daily activities, especially hunting. The use of deer skin also suggests a strong connection to his environment, as these animals were a source of resources. A goat leather belt, used both as an accessory and a functional tool, completed his attire. Ötzi likely used it to carry tools, hunted game, or provisions, suggesting a practical and efficient approach to his clothing. The tools Ötzi carried were a testament to his skill in surviving in a wild mountainous environment. Each of them was carefully chosen and designed to perform a specific function, from hunting to food preparation and protection from the elements. Ötzi carried a copper axe, one of the most advanced tools of his time. This tool had a wooden handle with a U-shape, measuring around 60 centimeters, and the copper blade, about 9.5 centimeters long, was secured with birch tar glue and wrapped in leather for added security. The fact that his blade was made of copper indicates that Ötzi lived during the transition from the Stone Age to the Copper Age, marking a milestone in the development of tools and technologies. In addition to his copper axe, he carried a flint knife with an ashwood handle, sharp and effective for cutting and scraping. The flint knife was a common tool in the Copper Age, and its presence in Ötzi's gear emphasizes the importance of this tool in hunting, food preparation, and maintaining other tools. Another essential implement for Ötzi was his bow, made from flexible and resilient wood, which rivaled the efficiency of the best medieval longbows. Although the bow was not fully finished, it was still effective in use. Along with the bow, Ötzi carried a quiver with 14 arrows, only 2 of which had stone tips. The fact that the arrows had damaged shafts suggests that Ötzi had been involved in previous hunts, which might indicate that he was not only a hunter but also an experienced man in the struggle for survival. A key element of his gear was his fire-making kit, an indispensable tool in an environment where low temperatures and extreme weather conditions were the norm. This kit included a type of fungus used to preserve embers, allowing him to light a fire at any moment, even when conditions did not favor lighting a fire outdoors. Ötzi's clothing and tools reveal much more than just an adaptation to the environment. They show us a man who knew how to survive in an unforgiving world. His ability to design and use complex tools, his knowledge of natural materials, and his pragmatic approach to dressing and equipping himself reflect a deep connection to his surroundings. By studying Ötzi, we gain a unique insight into life during the Copper Age, an era of transition between the Stone Age and the emergence of new technologies that laid the foundations for modern human civilization. The global controversy and property disputes over the Iceman's discovery in 1991 in the Italian Alps not only impacted the world due to his incredible state of preservation and the scientific knowledge he provided about the Copper Age, but it also sparked an intense debate about the ownership and preservation of his remains. This discovery, which turned Ötzi into an internationally renowned figure, quickly became a symbol of the connection between the past and the present, but it also became the epicenter of a legal and cultural dispute between Italy and Austria, 2 neighboring countries with a complex historical and geopolitical background. Although Ötzi was found on Italian territory, very close to the Austrian border, the dispute over his ownership arose almost immediately. Ötzi, also known by the nickname Frozen Fritz or the Tyrolean Iceman, was initially transported to Innsbruck, Austria, for further analysis. The fact that the discovery site was so close to the border between the 2 countries created a dilemma over who should have custody of such historically valuable human remains. The Austrians argued that although the discovery was made in Italian territory, the proximity to their border gave them rights over the body, as it was so close to their own lands and was considered a common relic. On the other hand, Italy defended its position, stating that the remains had been found on its territory, giving it the right to them, and that Ötzi's DNA closely aligned with that of present-day Italians. After years of legal disputes, both countries reached a compromise that allowed Ötzi's remains to be transferred to the South Tyrol Archaeological Museum in Bolzano, Italy, as a neutral point between the 2 nations. The dispute did not end with the agreement between Italy and Austria, as the local community in the Val Venosta Valley, where Ötzi was found, also claimed the remains. This valley is home to a group of local inhabitants who speak their own language and maintain unique customs and traditions, giving them a distinct cultural identity within Italy. For them, Ötzi was not only an archaeological find but a revered ancestor, a link to their ancestral history. This local community argued that, given their deep connection to the region and their cultural heritage, they had the right to have Ötzi's remains returned and treated according to their traditions. They called for a ceremonial burial in accordance with their customs, emphasizing that, more than a scientific object, Ötzi was a person deserving of respect. This claim revealed a deeper aspect of the dispute, the conflict between local cultural heritage and the more global view of heritage as something that belongs to all of humanity. The community saw in Ötzi not just a historical figure but a symbol of their identity and cultural continuity. For them, returning the body to its homeland was not only a matter of dignity but also of historical justice. On the other hand, both Italy and Austria shared a more universalist stance. Ötzi represented humanity's heritage, something that transcended national borders. Both governments argued that beyond territorial disputes, Ötzi's remains offered invaluable knowledge about human history and should be accessible to everyone, not just local residents or neighboring nations. In this sense, the debate also touched on tourism and economic implications. The presence of Ötzi in Bolzano, in a publicly accessible museum, has boosted tourism in the region, becoming an attraction that generates significant revenue for the community. Furthermore, the study of his remains has provided critical information about life in the Copper Age, opening new doors for scientific research. For Italy and Austria, Ötzi was not only a relic from a distant past but also a source of knowledge and a key economic driver for the region. The dispute over Ötzi also delved into a series of philosophical and ethical questions about cultural heritage. Who has the right to possess and guard the remains of our ancestors? Should governments, local communities, or humanity as a whole have the final say in these matters. Globally, such disputes have become increasingly common, especially when it comes to artifacts and remains of historical and cultural importance. In some cases, indigenous communities have called for the restitution of their ancestors to give them a proper burial according to their customs, while museums and governments argue that global access to these artifacts is vital for the preservation of knowledge. The dispute over Ötzi, the Iceman, is a clear reflection of how archaeological discoveries can spark deeply complex debates about ownership, identity, and rights. His story has not only provided a unique insight into the lives of prehistoric humans, but also prompted a reflection on how we treat and preserve our shared cultural heritage. Ultimately, Ötzi's case underscores the importance of finding a balance between respect for local communities, the rights of governments, and the legacy of humanity as a whole. Through the proper conservation of the remains and the respectful study of his history, we can continue learning from and honoring the past as we prepare for the future. The preservation process of Ötzi, the Iceman, has been an impressive technical and scientific challenge. After his discovery in 1991, taking care of his remains and belongings became a priority for the researchers who faced the task of maintaining his state of preservation over the years. When Ötzi's body was found, it was in exceptional condition due to the low temperatures of the glacier. However, removing him from the ice was not a simple process. Tools such as pneumatic hammers and chainsaws were used to extract him, but this procedure caused some damage to both the body and the equipment used. Once out of the ice, he was carefully transported by helicopter to a nearby morgue. There, he was placed in a refrigerated chamber to preserve his state. This initial step was crucial to ensure that his remains would not deteriorate due to the changing environmental conditions. The first place he was subjected to a series of scientific tests was the University of Innsbruck in Austria. Researchers used advanced techniques such as radiocarbon dating, DNA analysis, X-rays, and CT scans to obtain detailed information about Ötzi's health, diet, and ancestry. These tests also helped determine the cause of his death and provided valuable insights into diseases he may have suffered from, such as Lyme disease. After spending 7 years in Austria, Ötzi was transferred to Bolzano, Italy, specifically to the South Tyrol Archaeological Museum. There, the body was placed in a special chamber designed to replicate the conditions of the glacier where he was found. The chamber is kept in total darkness with a constant temperature of -6 degrees Celsius and a humidity of 98%, creating a controlled environment that slows down decomposition and preserves his integrity. Inside his chamber in Bolzano, a team of experts regularly monitors Ötzi's state of preservation. Every few months, the body is sprayed with clean water to prevent it from drying out and cracking. Additionally, a thin layer of cellulose fiber covers his remains, acting as a protective barrier against harmful bacteria and fungi. This effort is supplemented with regular scans and photographs to detect any alterations in his body. Not only has Ötzi's body been carefully preserved, but also his personal belongings, including a copper axe, a flint dagger, a bow and arrows, and several wooden containers and leather clothes, are being meticulously conserved. These artifacts provide valuable insight into life during the Copper Age, and their preservation in chambers with controlled temperature and humidity ensures that they remain intact for future generations of researchers. In conclusion, the preservation of Ötzi, the Iceman, is an outstanding example of the scientific and technological dedication applied to protect this invaluable discovery. Thanks to these measures, his legacy will continue to provide fundamental knowledge about the first European humans and their ways of life for thousands of years. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.